Good morning, everyone. Welcome to another edition of Coffee Conversations, where we get together in the morning and share a cup of hot Joe, discuss the things that are on our minds. Hope everyone had a blessed week. Hope everyone is doing well. As I sit here and reflect on things that are going on in my own life, things that are going on amongst my subscribers and members to this channel, things that I see in the comments. I released a prayer this week about healing. Urban Southern Cookie, I see you. How you doing? Hope you're doing well. Blue Sky's mom, hope you're doing well. I see you. Thank you for being here. You just enjoying a cup of coffee this morning. Has anybody fell forward this morning? Oh my goodness. What a surprise. I mean, I guess I should have known, right? Miss V. Laura is in the house. I guess I should have known. Don't they publicize this every year that the time is going to change? Things are going to be different. You're going to lose an hour. You're going to spring forward. Well, I'm already not a morning person. Miss Patty 2010, I'm not a morning person. Yeti Man. What's going on? What's going on? Audio in and out. Celeste McCoy. Is my audio not? Okay. Let me switch it up. Hold on. Let me see if I can change this out a second. Change some things up.
Appreciate y'all being understanding. Can y'all hear me? Let me know in the chat if you can hear me at this point. Let me know if you can hear me at this point. Give me a thumbs up, thumbs down in the chat. Let me know what's going on. Okay, I've had to change my mic while I reset my audio equipment here. So let me see if I can get back up on my audio. Maybe I'll just leave it like this. I don't need to hear myself. I'm just talking. Okay, so we'll leave it here then. If that's better for y'all, we'll just leave it here. My audio interface has been disconnected because I don't know what the glitch is, but I woke up this morning to spring forward, y'all, losing an hour of your day according to daylight savings time. I'm already not a morning person, so it wasn't a great experience for me. And I don't know how it affects y'all, but daylight savings time robs me of an hour of sleep, and I don't appreciate it. I need my sleep, y'all. I'm not the youngest thing in the world. I'm not young like I used to be. So here we are on this Sunday morning. I hope everyone is doing well. I appreciate all of y'all for being here. Philippe El Segundo, thank you for being a part of the chat. And here, as I sit with my cup of Joe, y'all, let me sip it. As I ingest this coffee to get my day started, the word respect dropped in my spirit. I don't know why. I try to think of random things as I drink my coffee and get my mind right, as my old professor used to say, to get my synapses firing. I just try to concentrate and focus and get my spirit right over a nice cup of coffee. And the word respect dropped in my spirit because there's been a lot of things that's been happening this week on the internet, around the world, things that I've noticed in my personal life, things that I've noticed online because I operate in this space. It's been a weird time. But I was raised in my life, and I admit, y'all, I'm an older cat. I'm not a young dude anymore. And at a certain point in a man's life, you have to come to that realization, bro. You're not young anymore. You're hitting a midlife stage, and things should be different than they were when you were a young man. And that's where I kind of am. And the word respect dropped in my spirit, and I realized that I was blessed to be raised in an era where respect was a thing. It was a real thing, y'all. We were taught to have respect for different environments, different people. You bet not go to school and cut up. You better show some respect in that house. When you meet another adult and you are introduced as a child, you better have some respect. I don't care if it's a lifelong friend that you've known all your life, you better show some respect. That ain't John, that's Mr. John. That's Mr. James. That's Mrs. Elistine. Anybody know what I'm talking about out there? Because I'm not that old, y'all. Let me just be real. I'm 49 years old. Can I keep it real with y'all? Can I keep it a buck with my audience? Man, I love y'all. I appreciate the fact that y'all rock with me like you do. I'm still in my 40s. I ain't got much time left. But I'm still in the 40 club for now. And I came up in an era where we showed respect for our elders. And it seems like we're in a time now where these young folks don't have respect for much of anything. And I know, look, y'all, we all overheard the adult arguments when we were younger, right? So we know, we know that every generation has this discussion where they say the generation coming up after them is worse than they were. And we see the devolution of society from one generation to another. We're experiencing it, we're living it, we're seeing it in our children's generation, and these kids that our children are being raised around, and we send them out into the world and we say, oh my goodness, y'all coming back with these bad habits. Where are you getting this? I don't play this music in my house. Where are you getting this? There was a time where kids wouldn't play that kind of music in front of old folks. Back in my day, you would be so fearful of what an adult might do to you. Out of respect for the elders, you wouldn't play that kind of music, let alone walking around reciting the lyrics with your earbuds in front of your elders. Where's the respect? I feel like it's gone. Look, Miss V. Laura said, we hid that in the room. Urban Southern Cookie says, yes, I feel blessed to be born in the era I was. I'm 54, and those lessons, morals, and values my parents raised me with are still present. Yes. I too raised my 3 children the same way. Cookie, I raised my kids the same way. I'm trying to raise my grandkids the same way, although I only have them like I told y'all last week my grandson was going to be here, right? He's outside my office door playing with his cars in the hallway. So y'all might hear him. I apologize, but that's just how we get down. I have my grandkids on the weekend and I try to sow seeds into them because their parents are from a different generation than mine. So I try to give them a different perspective than even their parents would, even though I raised their parents in the church and in the fear of the Lord. I raised their parents with respect. But I know that when they get out into the world and they go to school, I have right here now, I have a 3-year-old and a 7-year-old. When my 7-year-old goes to school, she's exposed to many other things that she might not get at home, that she definitely doesn't get here in my home. And we have to try to counteract that stuff, even though we only have a couple hours on the weekends to try to infuse some godliness into their lives. So here we are with the word respect. And growing up with respect from my elders and being respectful of certain circumstances, being a preacher's kid as I am. I see some people in the comments try to say, well, I'm PK, this, that, and the third. Well, I'm PK too, bruh, sis. I grew up the same way. I grew up on the pews in church 7 days a week. I'm there with you. I am you. And that's why I think I bring a certain perspective to this platform and I try to convey it as best I can. I don't think I succeed all the time, but I try to convey it to y'all. But along the lines of respect, it amazes me, y'all, when folks come into the chat and into the comment section on this platform and they say, hey, I'm 60 years old. I'm 70 years old. I'm 80 years old. Amazes me because I was raised to respect my elders. And the fact that folks who are my elders, like Sean Y. Stallings, who says I'm 64, the fact that folks who are older than me come onto this platform and would pay attention to anything I have to say is amazing. Okay, Austin Murphy, we gonna get rid of you because I don't like how you talking in my chat, bro. Bye-bye. It's a block party going on here. I don't know if y'all have noticed, but we don't stand for the foolishness in this space. But the fact that folks would come on who are old enough to be my parents and would pay attention to anything that I have to say is amazing to me because I have so much respect for my elders, not just based off of the fact that they are older. Because the old adage says, ain't no fool like an old fool. Everybody who old ain't smart just because they old. Some folks have made mistakes, mistake after mistake for 80 years. So we not depending on them like that. But I was raised in a certain way to reverence folks who have achieved a certain amount of life experience. And me and my wife say all the time, look, I give grace to them old drivers, them Sunday drivers, the old grandmas who be on the road who should have had someone who cared about them, who took their keys away, but didn't. So they still on the road at 80 plus years old and holding up traffic and blocking the way. I give them a huge amount of grace because I hope to get that old one day. That's what we tell ourselves. My wife and I, look, we hope to get that old. When we in Costco and the woman is walking with her cart and she so old and slow and keeping up the line and blocking the aisle, and look, give them some grace. I hope to get that old one day. That's the goal, right? That's what we doing. That's respect for your elders. And it's just the way that you're raised to a certain degree. I think it's important. And I like to show it to those who comment and participate in the chat on this channel. I respect and I look, it's amazing to me, y'all, because this channel took a whole turn. This channel, listen, some of y'all are just getting on board now and just discovering what I'm doing on this channel. And I admit, okay, it's changed. Things have switched gears, but this channel used to be full of young boys of all races from all different countries all over the world. Used to be a young male dominated channel. And when I switched the content and started speaking on godly things, started speaking on life changing things, started speaking on things that really concerned me and got away from the artistry and really started to try to change lives through the spoken word and video content on this channel. It really amazed me how the demographic changed. So it went from young males on this channel to middle-aged to older, still male dominated, but almost half and half male and female of middle aged and older age. Right now, it's about 60-40 males to females on this channel. Older, though, the whole age demographic has shifted from teens and early 20s of cats who were just trying to learn music to folks who are really tapping into a message. And I'm hoping that it's for the better, because I'm hoping as I spread this message, as God gives it to me, and I hope that I convey it to y'all. I hope I'm giving it in a way that it's being well received. But I'm hoping that as it's received, it can be disseminated from your position to people in your circle, people in your city, people in your sphere of influence. I'm hoping that I'm doing a good work. Can I put it that way? But it's about respect. And I respect my audience. I respect that demographic. And I respect my Lord and Savior, y'all. There was something that occurred this week that that troubled me in the way of respect. And I'm almost done with this coffee. I hope y'all understand that I won't be before you long on these little coffee conversations. It don't take me long to throw back a cup. Uh, but there was something that happened this week with the recording artist, the gospel singer, the entertainer, Ty Tribbett. He went on the Breakfast Club, and I'm still talking about respect. Tresta Richardson says she's sipping on coffee too. Look, I appreciate it, Tresta. It's one thing to drink coffee by yourself, but when you can sit down with like minded people and enjoy a hot cup of Joe, it just means something more. Maybe it's just me. Sean Y. Stalling says, I learned respect in two ways. My dad being military, oh yes, and me sitting at my grandfather's feet every weekend. We've got to get back to the basics, train up a child in a way that they should go. Yes. And when he gets old, he will not depart from it. Truth always. Thank you for being here. Marie and Florence. Ooh, Marie and Florence just finished dinner and dessert. It's not coffee time for her. Well, thank you for being a part of the stream, Marie and Florence. But I saw Ty Tribbett, y'all, who I've followed since the very beginning of his career, much like a Kirk Franklin, who I followed from the beginning of his career, because I'm just a church boy, y'all. And in my home, I was raised in a way where we had to listen to church music only. So at a certain point, this was all the option we had if we wanted to listen to music. So I began to listen to Ty Tribbett from the beginning of his career. And I saw him this week go into the Breakfast Club. We talking about respect, right? That word, respect. The Breakfast Club that I have no respect for because of some of the things they've done in the past. DJ Envy is now facing some charges where he has been involved with scamming the Black community, the Latino community, in some very high-end real estate scams that he may be facing some real jail time for. He's facing some real criminal exposure for, by letting scammers on his platform to fleece the people. That's DJ Envy, y'all, who's facing charges. And then we have Charlemagne, who called himself the God. That right there is such a turnoff to me. We talking about respect. Charlemagne, who was charged with some sexual offenses in the past, who ended up pleading to a lesser charge in order to get them charges dropped. He copped a plea. We know what that means. Some have called him, and I have even referred to him in the past as Charlemagne the Lesser Charge. Y'all can look it up. It's a matter of public record. Somebody in the comments said, how do, excuse me, y'all. Somebody said in the comments on that Thai video, how do we know that these folks on the platform are not believers? Well, they don't claim to be believers. How do we know that Charlemagne is this and that? Well, look at his public record. It's all available for you. Do your research, check out what's going on. But they challenged this man about his faith, about some of the things that he believed as a gospel artist. And he admitted that he himself has benefited from the gospel community, from the church community, from the religious community. He himself has extracted. I'm not going to put a dollar figure on it because I don't know, and it's not public, and it's not appropriate to even speculate. But we can say that this man, on his tours, on his albums, on his concerts, has made a significant amount of money from the church community, from the religious community. And to go on a show like this and then bash the church and say the church is whack, the church system is whack, the religious structure is whack. We talking about respect, right? Just seemed to me like that was so disrespectful for a man to condemn the church on a platform like that. You walk into a den of thieves, the Breakfast Club of all places, where we know that these folks did not demonstrate a love for God in the things that they do on this platform. But you walk in there and use this platform to tear down the people of God. Because when we talk about the church, we're not talking about brick and mortar, y'all. We're talking about God's people. That's why we can, y'all know, black folks can have church anywhere. Because it's not about the brick and mortar. It's about the people and the coming together of like-minded spirits with one accord. We can have church anywhere. So when I see a brother like this who comes on a platform like this and makes an outright assault upon the church to say the church is whack, and I see people on the attack like fanboys and fangirls who come out to defend the words that he said, it's amazing to me, y'all. And I'm almost done with this coffee, but I'm talking about respect. And it seems to me like that a brother like this who has extracted so much money from the church. And when I say that, listen to me closely, y'all, because so many people want to take things out of context and intentionally misunderstand. When I say he has made money off the church, I'm not saying he made money off the brick and mortar. I'm saying he made money off the people. The people are the church. The people bought your records. The people bought your concert tickets. The people have supported you over time. So when you say that the church is whack, you saying that the people and the systems that the people have implemented are whack after you have taken what you can take from the situation. We talking about respect. I felt like this was disrespectful to the body of Christ. This was disrespectful to the church, especially to do it on a venue like that. Disrespectful. We talking about respect this morning, and my coffee is almost gone. But so many people popped up in the comments to defend this man and what he was saying. And he said he only has an internet church because he tried to have a brick and mortar church and things didn't work out with the building. Things went left and he lost his building. So now he has an internet only church. Well, bruh. Sounds like you might have a chip on your shoulder because you couldn't maintain. And I've seen so many. Look, here we go. Back to this born and raised in the church, PK life. I've seen so many preachers who were great, amazing evangelists and would go from church to church, convention to convention. And they would preach the house down. And you end up at their church one day and they got 5 members in a broke down storefront, or they having Bible study in the living room of a house somewhere, but preaching from convention to convention, tearing down revivals all over the country, but can't maintain a church to save their life. Everyone who is a great evangelist is not necessarily a great pastor. And yes, a church by nature in modern society is a type of business. Because when you set up a brick and mortar, it has to be maintained. Look at Marvin Winans and his church that he's still struggling to get built 20 years later in the city of Detroit. It's not just about preaching a good word. When you get into maintaining a house of worship, it's a whole different set of circumstances that comes into management. Yes, it's unavoidable. It is a business at that point. You have to be able to maintain it. It's not just about preaching a word. But you can't kill it for that. You can't get on a breakfast club and talk down on it for that. You're not talking about bad bricks. You're not talking about bad mortar. You're talking about God's people that maintain that brick and mortar, bro. What are you really saying? What do these people got you out here talking about on this platform? And why couldn't you come to the church and say, hey, I have some issues? I don't know what Ty's denomination is, but y'all know we not with one accord. And even in that, we got thousands of different denominations out here and new ones popping up every day. But why can't you go to your denomination and address your issues to your brethren? Why would you go to the Breakfast Club and launch an all-out assault on God's people? No, we ain't perfect. No, we ain't perfect because we ain't perfect in our natural lives. We're not perfect in our natural lives, and we take a lot of stuff into the church atmosphere that we bring out from the streets. When I was young, they used to have a song the old folks would say, leave them there, take your burdens to the Lord and leave them there. But what I found in my older years that many of us, we misinterpret that song. Leave them there, take your burdens to the church and leave them there. So the church becomes messy, it becomes convoluted. A lot of discord happens in the church because we take a lot of things that happen in our personal life and we just dump them at the church once a week, twice a week, however often we go. So people look at this and say, oh, well, the church is a problem. The church is a mess. And we have false leaders, false doctrines. Of course, it's always been there, but we got to be able to cut through. And that's where a real personal relationship with God factors in. Jason Merrington says, hi, GC, I'm 47, feeling respect. Any who expect money in gospel spreading this Jesus who said, you were given free, you better give freely. Urban Southern Cookie. He lost his church? How? Online? Telling questions. Should he have had it in the first place? My goodness. That's the $1 million question, right, Cookie? Was he called to pastor or did he choose to pastor for other reasons? He is jaded. I agree with you 100%. There are so many folks who are pastoring who probably should not be. But when we look at the church, and I've examined it, I know so many pastors, even bishops, y'all, And it's interesting to me because I've explored it in my own denomination, the Church of God in Christ. I looked into it years ago. There are so many bishops in the Church of God in Christ who know how to play instruments. Organists, keyboardists, drummers, bass players. You know what that tells me? That tells me that they used to be church musicians. And since church musicians used to be my focus, I've explored it a bit. Some of these preachers have matriculated from the organ to the pulpit, and they don't really publicize it. Over time, they get away from it, they hide it, and they don't want you to know for whatever reason. It's maybe an unspoken thing among bishops. They don't want you to know that they used to be an organist. I think it's weird. I think Bishop Anton White of New York, sometimes he still gets on today and he'll play his keyboard online and make videos and content and whatnot. Former presiding bishop of the Church of God in Christ, Bishop Charles Blake, can play the piano. Well, not anymore. He's lost some function in his hands because of health issues, but he was a pianist. A lot of people don't know that, but these bishops hide it because they matriculate. This is how church musicians matriculate to the pulpit. And I've documented this even on my website, gospelchops.com. I did an article on how gospel musicians learn music. They matriculate, y'all. When they figure out that that music hits a glass ceiling and they can go no further, a lot of folks will put the drumsticks down, will put the bass down, will put the organ down, and start preaching. All of a sudden, they've been called. So, to that extent, I try to force myself to see where Ty was coming from. Because I see some flaws, I see some cracks in the pathway. I see some things that need to be corrected. We come up in the church a certain way, get up on those instruments, and we grow at that, and we see that it only takes us so far, and all of a sudden, boom, we preaching. We've been called overnight in our bathrooms. And next Sunday, we want to get up and speak over God's people. We've seen that kind of stuff happen in the church. We've seen the flaws. To that extent, I understand where Ty is coming from, but I don't understand why he would go on this platform and try to put it out there like that and basically attack the church. You're not attacking the building, you're attacking God's people. So if we need to change some structures, let's have that discussion in house. Show some respect for God's people. Don't get out here on these folks' platform where they control you and get out here talking sideways. At the same time, you admit that you've benefited from the church circumstance. No, that's not showing respect. Is that what we talking about today? Respect? It's not your place to get out here and put God's people on blast. God will separate the wheat from the tares. Not you, a musician, an artist who decided that he reached a certain point in his career and he was going to start a church and become a preacher. Maybe, sir, maybe God didn't call you, as our sister Cookie is saying. Maybe you wasn't called in the first place. Maybe God didn't call you to pastor. Maybe God didn't call you to preach. Everybody don't have the same calling upon their ministry. But here you are, looking like you have a chip on your shoulder and attacking God's people. Where is the respect? My coffee is done, y'all. I just want y'all to understand what I'm saying. Not only in the Thai circumstance, but in my circumstance here on this channel. I respect my followers, my supporters, and I get a lot of support that I didn't expect on this channel. And when I get it from folks who are old enough to be my parents, the fact that you would listen to anything I have to say is just amazing to me. I'm constantly in awe of people who send me messages and support what we got going on here and subscribe. And as we see these subscription numbers going up, we continuing to climb. This channel is continuing to grow. I'm just in awe of what God is doing. And I respect it. I respect the blessings of God. I respect God's people who are here and tuned in and contributing. I appreciate y'all. I see y'all in the chat. I appreciate your support. I appreciate y'all coming out. I appreciate y'all having a little cup of coffee with me and exploring the things that run through my mind. That was just a word that popped into my head today. Respect. And I hope that what I've said here is not disrespectful. I hope to be respectful in what I present on this channel. I'm not trying to be disrespectful to Ty, but I respectfully disagree with his position. I respectfully disagree with his presentation. And I know that, Ty can't fill up a stadium, so he attaches himself to the likes of a Kirk Franklin. And I don't have much respect for the things that Kirk Franklin does. I've watched him over time, and I don't think it's worthy of respect. But I think that's all I got today, y'all. I hope that you got something out of this rant. I don't know how these coffee conversations are gonna go because I've never done this before. I just sit down with a cup of coffee and I think. I let my mind flow randomly. I'm a very pensive person, and I just sit down and think and let my mind go. And that's what God gave me today to share with y'all. Respect. I respect you all. I hope you respect this platform and what God is trying to do here. And if you don't respect it, if you don't agree with it, some folks have popped up in the comments with vehemently disagreeing with something I said. Look, pray for me, bro. Just pray. We trying to do a good work. We may not always get it right, but we will always be respectful, and we will always stay prayerful and hope that God uses us in a way that it has a positive impact on somebody somewhere. I hope that somebody listening can get that and agree with me on this Sunday afternoon. Appreciate y'all. I love y'all. Southern Cookie, man, shit, this woman blesses me. This woman blesses me. I don't know her, but I feel her spirit. I appreciate your support so much. This is amazing. I appreciate you, sis. And she told me a while back that she learned about my channel because her brother was a drummer. And it's just amazing how God will expand your territory and enlarge your territory because all you got to do is step out on faith and do the work. Who knows how God is going to move in your life, how people are going to come across you in your ministry and things that you're trying to do in your good work and support you in what you're trying to do. I so appreciate you, Urban Southern Cookie. Thank you so much for spending time and being a part and supporting and contributing. She not just here on the live stream, y'all. You can find her in the comments. She gets busy. I appreciate it. I appreciate all of you for being a part. Everything that you've done, everything that you will do in the future. I'm believing God that He's going to continue to expand this channel and grow this ministry. And I'm hoping and praying that we have a powerful impact on the world and continue to grow what we got going on here, even as our demographic is changing with an older demographic of people, both men and women. Okay. Well, it's going to take us the middle aged and the older to impact these young folks who seem to be running wild in the world with no respect. Can we get back to that word? It's going to take us to get out here and influence those that we have influence over to teach them the lessons that we learned when we were younger. How to respect ourselves, number one. Young men, young women, respect ourselves first. And then implement that respect in other areas of our lives, impacting other people. I appreciate y'all. I thank you for being here. Urban Southern Cookie, if you ever need anything from me, just let me know. I appreciate your support so much. It means the world. I love y'all. I respect y'all. I respect this platform and I respect the mantle that God has given me. And I'm going to treat it with respect. And I hope that y'all are able to see that from whatever vantage point you are at in your life. My coffee is gone and I'm out. God bless each and every one of you. Until next time. Peace.